Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. In this video, we're restoring the dashboard in our 1981 Subaru BRAT that we're putting a modern day turbo engine in. So come along with me as we dive into this thing. Okay, we got everything off the dash. I'm gonna keep these shrouds. I think these look great. Got a lot of other cool little stickers on there. Unleaded fuel only, do not shift drive selector while cornering. I think these are cool. They're in really good shape. Glove box, and then there's also a vent cover which goes over here. So we're gonna keep that original. The main thing to focus on is obviously the top of this thing. This thing is rough. This is pretty bad. I mean, it's just all cracked and rotted and separating from the metal frame. So you're gonna have to see what we want to do. A lot of people online will come in here with a Dremel and cut out all the cracks, fill it with foam, Bondo it and everything. I've heard those will crack too. A lot of people will do what I just said and then they'll put vinyl over it. So we'll just have to see what we want to do here. I would love to 3D scan this and be able to 3D print a cover.
Do it! Just do it!
So get rid of all the foam and then print an actual cover over the top. That's an idea. I think if we, look at this, is just coming right off. Look at that. So, and the metal underneath is rusted in some spots. So we might just scrape off what will come off and then see what we are left with. Okay, so once we have the CAD model from Fusion 360, I imported it into Creality Slicer, which is the slicer I use with the Creality K2 Plus, which this being a larger format printer, about 350 millimeters by 350 millimeters, this allows us to use the bigger volume to print this dash. We did have to break it down into about 4 pieces, and so as you can see here, I'm using the cut tool within Creality Slicer to make those cuts. When you do make the cuts, you can opt to create different types of connections, if you will. Like there's a dovetail, there's the planer, and I just use the planer type cut. And it also allows you to generate holes for kind of alignment dowels, if you will. And so we did that as we went through the process. And so, like I said, broke this down to about 4 different pieces to fit the build plate and then printed each one individually. And as you'll see here later in the video, we were able to use the dowel pin holes to line everything as we were assembling and gluing it all up. All right, first piece is done. Check it out. Here we go. See if we can get her off of the build plate one-handed. Let me set you guys down and we'll get this off the plate. Alright, so my research online tells me to mix up acetone with some leftover ABS filament. I just use the supports from all of this stuff, and this has been in there for a few days. It makes a pretty thick slurry. Use a little disposable brush here to bond these together. I believe the acetone has a chemical reaction with the ABS, which causes it to kind of melt together, which will create a chemical bond, which seems to work pretty well. I did do a couple test pieces, and I would say it's fairly strong. I do plan to reinforce the back of this with some fiberglass of some sorts. So let's this slurry it's just a little thicker than the acetone would be on its own, is the best way to describe it. Not as quite as thick as like Elmer's glue, like play school glue, but okay, so you can see where I've already put the acetone on. I mean, you really wouldn't have to go that broad. I just did a brush stroke across all the seams. I originally thought I might leave it in its 3D printed state because I do like the way it looks. I think it's a cool story. But as I get into this, I'm thinking, you know, really a lot of these spots need to be sanded, texture and everything. So at least for this version of the dash, we're gonna go ahead and do all the seams. We'll sand them all down, and then we'll actually paint the dash. I've got some truck bed liner. Hopefully add some texture. So we're gonna let this sit. I'll do the other part, and then hopefully this will all be one piece by tomorrow. All right guys, here it is, a 3D printed dash for a 1981 Subaru BRAT. Is it perfect? No, wasn't designed to be. It was really designed to see if we could actually pull this off, and we've answered that question, which is really cool. This is kind of where we're gonna stop for now on the dash. I have a lot of unanswered questions, you know, a lot of things that I wanna do to the inside of the car that I haven't quite figured out yet. I wanted to design the actual center console for this. I want all of that to flow. I don't know what texture I'm gonna go with or what finish. And so I'm gonna let this kind of sit for a while. It's ready to go. We did get all the nut certs in. The brackets, factory brackets are there. So this can be fully mounted. The IC7 dash does fit in here from Haltech. And so that's the dash we're gonna go with. And I've 3D printed a bezel for this, so that'll fit in here. We still need to test fit like the vents and the glove box and all that. We'll get to that. But for right now, this is where we're gonna stop. This is kind of the raw version of the dash. Look forward to the next video. Should be pretty soon. We're finishing up the floor pan, center console area, shifter and all that. And then we're gonna be ripping out the engine, transmission, finishing up all the fabrication work. And then we kind of get ready for seam sealer, paint, all that, and get everything kind of finalized. So stay tuned, subscribe, like, comment. Appreciate you guys.